There's, got it.
Not enough sleep, not enough coffee.
Okay,
MJ,
okay.
that's what that was this morning.
Yeah, you did well though. You recovered.
Mhm. Okay.
Sonia, you got the PowerPoint.
Yep, just opening it up now.
Good job. All right.
It's great to have staff, MJ. He always has like
Quality
a
abounds,
2-minute
yeah.
delay. 2-minute delay with my humor.
Oh, that's good. You saw her entertaining you.
Mhm. I'm the opening act. Not.
Well, I want to give everybody a minute or two to hop on. If you're on the Facebook page watching this, we are on a Zoom call and I've posted the link into the Zoom. It's also in the event or into the Facebook Live. It's also in the events section of Beyond Your Weight Loss Roller Coaster. Oh, I'm sorry you don't have audio, Joni.
Oh, Joni.
All right. So we've got...
Can she hear us at least? Can you hear us at least?
No audio, no video.
So maybe, oh.
I think she can hear us. She just
Okay, yay.
can't
Okay.
talk.
So I want to welcome everyone who's here and I want to thank you for coming. We will be starting in just a minute. I just wanted to see who we've got here. Melissa and Marsha and Gracie and Kelly and of course Mary Jo and Joy and Sue and Jenny and Cindy. Hi, Cindy. And Joni and Patricia. If you are on the Facebook Live and you want to hop on the Zoom call, the events page is there. I know I just said that, but I want to say it again for anybody that's just starting. If you want to hop on, if you've got any questions, it may be hard for me to see the questions that you post there, and Mary Jo or I can answer them later. And I want to welcome you all to this wonderful interview. I'm really excited about it. But I want to first introduce myself for anyone who isn't familiar with me and my stuff. I have been on a really exciting journey for these 62 years. And the last 4.5 years, I've been on a wonderful journey of no sugar, no flour. Almost 5 years, actually. It'll be November. No, November, it'll be 5 years. And in particular, I've had some really fascinating experience and exposure to all different types of food plans and all different issues around the reasons why we eat. And I want you all to hear, it's not the food. The food is a symptom. Yes, there are addictions associated with certain foods, absolutely. But we can also have an absolutely delightful binge on broccoli. So I want you all to hear that it really isn't the food. So what I work on and what many of my wise women work on are other reasons why we eat and how we can fix those. So I'm a puzzle solver and I figure things out based on all sorts of disparate, disconnected dots. And in the last 1.5 years, especially, I've really come up with some doozies. So watch and listen and pay attention. And I have a real doozy here right now. Mary Jo. My Mary Jo. I met Mary Jo in December, and she became a member of the Magic group, which is something I'll talk about later if you're interested. But I met Mary Jo in December, and you had basically just started this iteration of your food journey at that point. But what brought me and Mary Jo together was her incredible intuitive healing skills. She has shown me over and over and over again, multiple ways, physical, emotional, mental reasons that have shifted me and helped me stay grounded, helped me stay focused. Mary Jo and I meet almost every week and we exchange services. So I want to pass the word on to you all that Mary Jo is miraculous in the way that she can work the shifting of our energy to help us lessen or strengthen our vibrational energy, the things that we show in this world and how we show up. And I'm munging it completely, and I know she has a better explanation for it. But I'd like to introduce you to my sweet friend, Mary Jo DeMarais.
Thank you so much. That's really thoughtful. I put together a little PowerPoint that I can speak to about the work, where I've come from, where I'm going, where I'm heading, what I hope to have happen. I look at myself as a world server, and this energy has brought me to that.
I'm spotlighting you, Mary Jo, so we can do the PowerPoint.
Got it.
So I'm going to go ahead and share the PowerPoint now. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. You want to go ahead and get started?
Yep. There you go. Okay. So my background comes a little bit strangely to this work, and yet maybe not. I've always considered myself someone who is a seeker of self-development. It comes from feeling fractured as a child, feeling like I didn't fit in. Why not? What was going on? Really impacted by environment and also my own emotional reactions to things that were my own world. But I really considered self-leadership from the inside out is how I grow, how I offered it. And I did this in many of my occupations. I have helped others seek and evolve for their best service. I've been I started out in fashion merchandising and interior design. Who knew that actually working with interior design is what I'm doing now, working from the inside out. But color's always been important, helping people be able to present themselves physically in a way that is presentable in the world and that they can let their light shine when your colors really vibrate. I was in the military, so where are those connections? Still working on that one. I actually was working in the area of professional development and skill development. And I was actually brought in to be and trained as a radio mechanic. So again, maybe circuitry and electronics and all the electrical still had some impulse on me. I've worked in organization and behavior change in the government and pretty much all sectors. I worked for the FDA through the state government and worked on skill development in that area and worked with people starting their businesses and improving their businesses and being able to help them find their joy in what they do. I've also been a pastoral minister and an educator. Next one. So I ended up getting a terminal degree where I studied shamans and how they serve their communities and how they evolve in being able to be within the communities. Shamans work to help keep a community intact and keep and support people in their healing and also in their development. And I was very intrigued with that because in organizations, those people at the top, how do they maintain their well-being? How do they maintain that? But if you're not a leader that's recognized, but you're within the area of the organization, how do you maintain the work you do and balance that with self-care? And during COVID is when this work started to come out. I was trained in this, but I had time to reflect, meditate, and discern and hear the call for this work. And my intuitive skills just went off the chart. And I was called, I was furloughed during COVID. I was working with retired sisters, nuns, that I worked with energy. I worked with their physical maladies. And when I got furloughed is when it's that part of assisting them that really brought it to the forefront. And I helped face and overcome my limiting beliefs during this time and how they show up. And it's an ongoing process, but it allowed me to just start activating, supporting others, but in balancing that for myself. So this work started for me with the energy healing as a graduation gift. I was at a retreat and I met somebody who was working with this work called esoteric healing. And I felt like I came home. I was on an island. You couldn't escape. She had me in a boat. She starts talking to me about energy. She starts sensing my energy and working and balancing my centers, my energetic body. And I just felt like, whoa, I want more. So I took the training, which was of 4 years. And then I was a teacher's assistant for her. And I also at the same time took training in soul psychology, which they call psychosynthesis. You work with guiding people to their authentic self, their I am presence through imagery, through guiding and through coaching. And then I also at the same time during this 4-year period became trained as a spiritual director. And then later became shy of becoming a Reiki master. So it's just all things energy. And energy, what is esoteric healing? It's a high vibration of healing. And it was channeled. Actually, he was alive at one time. He was a Tibetan, and he channeled this information to a woman named Alice Bailey. And this information came in through England. She did not want to accept this as something she was supposed to do. So he was alive and then ended up passing. And then it was at the time that it was persistent in her dreams that she translated his work into 26 different volumes of how you work with this healing and how you impact a person's energetic body and also how you create a vitality in a person's physical body. And when we have problems in our energy field, this work actually can detect it. And it can also take the dis-ease before it manifests into something physical or an emotional where I can't get out of being afraid, where I have so much guilt, where I'm just totally imploded or I'm paralyzed. I can't move. I can't be effective in anything I do. This work can affect that before anything physical happens and manifests into cancer or other diseases of that nature. So everything's a form of energy and it has a vibration. And we are more than our physical bodies. We are composed of a physical, an energetic, a mental, and a spiritual component to ourself. And everything alive pulsates with energy and it contains information. So we're energy beings who we are here in a physical body. My faith community says that we're physical beings where souls experience a physical experience on earth. So a soul is what keeps us alive. The energy flows through the soul from our God, our divine, our what we know to be our source. And these fields that we have as physical beings extend beyond this dense physical body that we have. And it's about 5 inches that it starts out. And it works with and interpenetrates. And it's many different lines of energy that come in from all of the universal forces that come in from what they call nadis into chakras and then form into our system and affect all of our organs, our endocrine system, our nervous system. And this etheric, that 5-inch one is a mirror image of who we are physically, densely. And so what we can do to impact through this energy, through this vibration, through our thoughts, through channeling this energy, facilitating and directing it into flow can help diminish or impact it from actually manifesting physically. So it does record our thoughts, this energy, it shapes our consciousness. So what you think really affects what we do. So energy does follow thought. And if you're thinking negatively, you can create blockages in your actual physical body. And now these are things we have to learn, but these are things that we can pick up in an energetic and an energy healer who trained in this can actually sense that and help bring it back into vitality. So just to get a sense of it, maybe if you want to just take a stand and just so you can feel a little sense of energy. A lot of people have worked with it. A lot of people don't know about it, but you can stand up and just shake out your hands. And then just turn your neck. And then feel your arms behind you, a little mini, not quite a Donna Eden for those of you who follow Sonja's promptings on the morning energy and following. But if you want to take a seat, go ahead and just take and rub your hands together. Just really create this vitality. Holding you, Jenny, holding you. Just holding you. So rub your hands together, sensing this tingly feeling. Now place your hands together and making it shaped like a ball. And maybe you're feeling this tingling. I hope you are. If not, go ahead and just resense it by rubbing your hands together. Move it until you sense this ball. Just pulsate it a little bit. If you don't feel it, go back. And then you can do it through here with your fingers. Some people feel the energy through their fingers. So just feel this tingling and this sense of ball. Bring your hands in and bring it out, just so you can feel it expand and contract. Now bring your hands in slowly, feeling the ball between them. And while you're holding this, I'd like you to think of a time, I'll bring you back out of it, but I'd like you to think of a time where you feel afraid. Think of a time where you felt afraid. And notice this energy between your hands. Take a deep breath and get rid of that. Through your nose, right, Sonja? Now, just noticing that energy again, it's still there. Sense this. Now think of a time that you felt safe and you felt love. Safe and loved. Oh. As you hold that, just send that to yourself. Just turn it to your heart and let that radiate. And through your in-breath, why don't you go ahead and all these beautiful Brady Bunch on this Zoom call, just let that energy just expand beyond you. And through your intention, through your eye, right above your eyebrow, your ajna, we call that, your third eye, just let that radiate to everyone's energy body here in this Zoom room. Just connecting in love and in gratitude. And when you're ready, if you've closed your eyes, you can open and smile. And maybe, Sonja, we can maybe just get one or two responses. Maybe they could click on and just see if they felt anything or what they experienced, if they noticed anything. And somebody can speak up.
Right, just unmute yourself.
So can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Anna Marie,
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you. I felt the energy when I was making the ball, but when you said to think of a scary time, I was remembering a very scary time. And then my fingers started to tingle, which was
Ooh.
my hands were, I could feel it in my hands when I rubbed, but then when you said the scary part, my fingers felt different. And then it calmed down, but whatever that is, it was in my fingers, and it'd be nice if it was just out of my body now.
Were you able to breathe through that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's just make sure that that's just release. If you're intending to just let that go, if it's still anything, you can take your hands from the top of your head where the flow just continues to go through you and energize. Just like if you have like a sieve, I used to manufacturing auditing. So they used to have a sieve to get rid of the stuff of like from the corn or the peas, anything that didn't really serve when they wanted to process it, and just pull something like that just through the top of your head and just energetically let it flow all the way through your body, all the way into the ground, and let it just go into the earth. And then that takes that energy and let it just flow right into the ground. Can you feel that sensation move through you?
I'm not sure, but I'd like it to.
So your intention is really all you need. You don't have to believe it. It's happening. I can feel it. I can feel something on the side of your head. And then I was dropping. So just release and release. And yes, that tingling you felt was the sensation of what fear, what scary reactions, emotions feel like. So you were right on target. Were you able to sense, Anna Marie, the sense of love and feeling safe?
Yes. It took me a minute to find the right spot, but then I found a good one.
Nice. Thank you so much. Anybody else? What? Go ahead.
Well, I just feel blessed that I could find a good spot like that.
And then you can take that with you anywhere. You can bring that, you can remember that, hold that, and just think love. That's one of the highest vibrations and frequency. And the goal in this work too is to move people from a place where they might have a disease, an energy impedance in their energetic body, and move it. It's grief, maybe it's anger. And then in that shifting, just holding that ball and saying, I am able to move that even just a bit. If you want to shift into a contentment, or if you can't reach joy, what does it feel like with love? And holding that ball will remind you of that for yourself, and hold that. And in that space, you've now just created a new energy. And I just felt that in this room. Wow, really powerful, everyone. And you can hold that and you can shift it in a minute. And it works with triggers, as Sonja was talking about. When you're feeling like, oh, I'm going to act on this, I'm just going to act on this, I'm going to go back to my food that doesn't serve me. If you can that emotion and shift that by holding that love, that energy, it creates this, that my head is just vibrating. It's like, whoever you are, whoa, I love it. Whatever is going on in the room here.
Wonderful. Thank you, Anna Marie.
Oh, you're welcome.
Anybody bursting, or should we go on? This morning I had somebody that I was working with who was in a lot of sadness, and just really applauding them for the fact that they actually connected to that. And though it was like, oh, are we still in the grieving? And it was like the realization of what was not being able to be received from this person in the relationship they had. And that was, but the realization that, wow, I won't do that again. And in knowing and feeling that, was able to go from that low vibration into a place that actually started to feel there. You could see the change in their face. There was peace. There was even a smile. I'm going to hesitate to say joy, but from that deep despair and anger about don't want that anymore, to a shift, was just, it just really created an overwhelming sense of joy for me to be part of that process.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mary Jo. All right, next slide.
Sure. So I talked about how we are these physical bodies, but you know, if you take a look at the bottom where it says personality on this chart, that's just the physical, emotional, mental, and third part of our physical existence. Look at the rest of us. We go up to what they call a causal body, and that's that transition spot that our place above that is where our soul resides, and the help that we have of the energies that help to keep that soul in place and to let the energy of the very top, the source of who we call our God, our divine, our universal source, that brings that. We couldn't absorb that in just one swoop. So it has to, what would you say, bring itself, de-escalate it down into where we can manage it into our body. And that flow is known to our soul, ourself, our higher self. And look at the different levels. When there's a block, and as it shows right at that energy body, that person's neck, there'd be a block in their throat where they couldn't speak up, or they've been told to shut up, or they might have thyroid issues. The energy, as it cascades down into the body, cannot completely continue to flow and energize all layers of the body. And so that's where the work in esoteric healing happens, where you can help impact. I've worked with people that I'm not a medical physician. You need to hear that. And I always say work with those individuals, but they were off of their thyroid medication. Another woman was in a class that I was in, and she was telling me that when I was sensing, I said, I sense a circuitry around you. It's like wonderful. It's like this, it was around working with the pancreas, and it was working with the immune system. And she said, I have been able to not be a diabetic anymore through doing this work. I just find that just fascinating that something can happen that way. But also, if you can't speak up, or you can't tell your partner what you really think, in working with this, you can shift your relationship. And I work with people to try to help energize this for themselves so they can do self-healing techniques. Next one, Sonia, that would be great. Thanks. So this energy field, as you saw, that image, it does surround us, it penetrates us, and it impacts us at what we call the levels of our body, at the chakras. And we have 7 major chakras, and they are the ones that start at the root of our bodies, and they go up to the top of our head, and that's called a crown. And each of these centers are vitalized, and they have a specific nerve center and an endocrine gland or an internal organ system. And through this work, this vitalizing, this energizing, we can impact things. We can help people that are working with gallstones, people that have kidney stones, people that might have issues with UTIs, or even if they've had a hysterectomy, the body still has the energetic memory. You can still help ease any hormonal transitions and doing this work. So as I said earlier, it does help to keep these centers vitalized, and it works with the nervous systems. We work in our conversations around the vagus nerve. We talk about stress. We can actually impact that 10th cranial nerve that impacts the throat, that goes into the digestion, that shifts what the cravings, even based on how we are energizing our digestive system. And all of this happens without touching an individual. And you experience the energy in your hands, and you have chakras in your hands. That is where the work is radiated through. And I can show you that picture. There's the bodies again, and what it looks like on the energetic system. I think we can go to the next. So and as I mentioned, how it helps something from a physical issue all the way to a vocational stress. Something with you have a family genetics that's always been there, or you have something generational that's been passed down, it can be impacted as well. And if you want to go down to the slide 16, this is just another view of what our body looks like energetically. You can go back to that. I'll just show real quickly. Sorry. So this is just the lower where it says physical. That's just who we are as we're standing here. But we are, and Sonja said, we're comprised of emotions and our mental capacity. And we move through the energetic levels all the way to the top. And our goal is to how we integrate the work, what our soul is called to do here in this world, and how we integrate it to keeping our channel open all the way from our soul into that, to integrate that into our body. So it would be a soul that's infused fully in our body. We forget that when we arrive here at birth, but then we forget that, and we forget it through all of our daily activities and all of the impacts that happen to shift it. And we are here to come back to that remembrance so that we can live vitally and joyfully. And that's the work of this, what we do in this lifetime. So the work that I do and how I work with individuals is this next slide. So, they call this an esoteric experience and you can't see it. There are some people that can actually see this image. And how I do it is I always make sure that I work for the highest and best good. If I don't, I'd be a shaman that would go crazy. If they're not aligned in tune, they could do damage in their community. This is what I learned. And so they have a process of how they set their day and how they set their intentions. And this is not much different than what this energy work here is that you set that intention with yourself by starting at your heart. And then it works your way up to your soul. And then you connect to the divine source of energy that radiates throughout. And then at that point, that invitation for the person I'm working with, facilitating the energy for, to ask their soul if it's okay to work today. Would this energy be supportive today? And sometimes I've actually gotten a no, but they usually come because they're ready. And so that work is that they're ready to infuse this so it shifts what's going on. And I ask people 3 things that have been holding them in dis-ease. Is there an emotion? Is there something physical? What are they coming to the table that has not been able to be shifted? And so from that space, I ask for their highest good, and then that gets connected by us and we radiate that through. And the work, I channel this work. I am not doing the work. But you can see that from that intention that comes from the highest good that gets radiated around and supports that individual, the work then filters through me. And because of, there's a protocol that you follow, but I align and attune, and my intuition directs where my hands go, where my head comes up with these thoughts and images, the questions that I ask somebody that may change where we go or what we do because of a prompting and nudging. And there, we can go to the next one. So another, here it is in a arrow form where you're sitting with a person. So connecting to source and then connecting souls to soul. And then you can see that it goes up through their soul light to the other person. And then it radiates out through my crown to my hands. And then I just pay attention and direct the energies through the hands. So these are the chakras, and it impacts, and I don't know that you can really quite read it, but I mean, if you're at the basic center, the root center, the lowest, there's psychological systems of the urinary tract and the adrenals. So that's where we have fear. That's where we store anger. And the work that gets done in vitalizing and re-energizing and putting those areas that might be blocked or impeded back into a flow will increase the will to be here, the will to move forward, and bring encouragement to that person. And another would be, so how I'm digesting the world. So the middle section of your body, the solar plex, it affects the pancreas, and it's about having sweetness in your life. How are you in this world? What is it that you are focusing on, the eye and all of the center of this, so that you can enjoy life? So it's really re-energizing and affecting the center, the organs, the blood flow, the nervous system in each one of these centers. Support the and offer some self-healing techniques at the same time.
Can you repeat that, Mary Jo? What you just said, it was boggled for me. About
What was that? Which, pardon me?
From support.
Yeah, oh, thank you very much. Yes, I did see it went unstable. So during the time of this change, I will help individuals with some techniques that they can take, and that they can take. It might be something breathing. It could actually be using, sometimes people are open to doing oils that help energize, or I've actually been guided to help them to see and some of the effects have been pretty amazing. And Sue has been somebody.
I don't know about anybody else, but you're freezing up a little bit, Mary Jo. I know that Sue was going to give a little bit of an explanation about what's happened with you. Do you want to? I want to spotlight you here, Sue. There you go. You're on mute, honey.
Did we lose her?
Yeah, I think her internet's unstable right now.
Okay.
There you are, Mary Jo.
Oh, yay. Oh, yay. Are you back, Mary Jo?
I'm here.
Okay, good. Well, we missed it.
Sue, I've had the opportunity to work with Sue. She did my chart and my oracle, and it was fascinating.
Well,
And,
go ahead.
And being a Pisces,
You're freezing up a little bit, Mary Jo. We're going to give your internet a minute to stabilize. I think Sue could explain what was going on with your chart and in broad strokes, being a Pisces. And
Well, what was interesting, Sonia, is it possible to pull up slide 15 again? Because I never saw these slides, MJ, and I think they're fabulous slides. And it's interesting. You are doing the work, as people are maturing, working around the energy. But interestingly enough, at the time of your birth, right, from the divine up here, there aren't the segments: monadic, spiritual, intuitional, mental, emotional, that are expanded at the time of your birth. So that energy goes right down to the root chakra. And so when you're born,
yeah,
from an astrology point of view, right, there's a snapshot of all the planets that were present at the time of your birth, which energizes your soul, right? And that's where you begin. And as you develop, those emotional, mental, intuitional, spiritual, nomadic, they all begin to blossom, right? So I thought that was very interesting. But getting back to MJ, because it's about her. Working with her has just been,
that's cool though.
Pardon? working with her has been an extraordinary experience. We happen to have the same kind of energy belief systems, and I have worked with energy Reiki masters and shamans for quite a few years, but not on the BLE journey. This has been a whole new experience, and I have to say that she's an amazing healer. I mean, she came in as a Pisces, and Pisces are mystical healers who happen to have an eye for the design of the soul. So no wonder you were in all of these other professions, MJ, including the military, by the way, because since you have no earth in your chart, military is disciplined on the earth, right? And that's what that was about. Anyway, so my experience with MJ was when my son was getting married, and there was this wedding, and I was having some struggles. And I was coming to the morning magic every morning, and I was just exhausted. And I think one morning, Jay said to me, "Oh, what's going on?" I said, I'm having another nightmare. Well, since I was a kid, I've had recurring nightmares of people trying to kill me. I came from an abusive Italian family, and I was an abused child, and so I consequently had these horrible nightmares every day, every night. I just got used to them, and you sort of go, oh, well, yeah, there's that again. And then I got divorced, and then my ex-husband became part of those nightmares. It was just horrible. And I just felt like I was at the end of my rope. And she said, let's do an exchange. Let's do an exchange. You can do my chart, and I'll do some energy work for you. And she took me on this meditative journey. And all I can say was, not only did she assist me in, and I'm already tingling from it because I can still feel that energy now, release the nightmares, but I was able to get rid of generational nightmares. And you know what? I haven't had a nightmare since. I dream very visually. I'm a very visual person. Yeah, thanks, Sonia. Very visual. I agree in filmmaking. What a surprise. I just, life is in color, and it's visual, and it's moving, and I still have dreams, but they are not the nightmares of somebody trying to snuff me out. And MJ, I was dragging those chains around like Jacob Marley for 50 years, and it's gone. And the weariness is gone, but I had to get to a point where I was done being done with the pain. And I just didn't know how to stop it. A million years of therapy, all kinds of, energy work, chiropractic, naturopath, kinesiologist, which I still all believe in, but until I got to this place of being totally surrendered to the pain of weariness of my soul, was I ready to give it up. And you helped me with that. So the nightmares have not come back. I still have work to do, which MJ still helps me with. And, if they come back, you're the first person I call. I mean, folks, I don't know what to tell you, except she knows what she's talking about. And it is scientific. It is scientific, because when they take MRIs and scans of the energy body, there is color and there is pulsing, and you can see it, and it's alive.
Yes. Yeah.
So thank you for letting me drone on. I'm sorry about that.
Not at all. Thank you so much. It is true that you can actually see these electrical impulses. Brilliant. He actually developed the photography of it so you could see the energy bodies. And then there's another, and he's Japanese, and he showed how using water fractals, how energy, if you use an energy impression of anger, what happens to a plant, it dies, how it flourished, and it showed and attracted. So this is really true that it's science-based.
There was like, again, some missing there, but there's a gentleman who has done a lot of research, and basically he infuses emotions into water. And I know that sounds a little out there, but he infuses emotions into water and then freezes it, and the crystals are completely different. It's fascinating. He infuses music into them, and the crystals, it's fascinating. We can get you the information. Does anyone know the name of the guy? I forget his name.
I just had it and lost it, but
Yeah.
there's books on it, but you can just look up
Yeah, you're freezing again.
fractals. And then-
Fractals, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's because that you have anything opened on your side too, but I'm closed out on everything else.
No, I have it all closed up too, other than
Okay.
your spreadsheet and the Facebook Live. Love technology. I have to say, it's very possible that your energy is probably impacting something here. That's my guess. You have power. And I can say with assurance, first of all, thank you, Sue, for your testimonial. I can say with assurance, I know many people who have benefited from Mary Jo directly. And I know the stories that have helped. So Mary Jo, could you explain a little bit about how you work as far as I'm gonna show the slide that will have how people connect with you. We're getting close to the end, and I want to make sure we get this in before we go to questions. We've just got a few more minutes left. So here's how to connect with Mary Jo. And I will put this in the Facebook.
If you go, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah. So if you wanted to go and check out the Facebook, you can. It's called Shifting Life into Balance, and you will be able to find it. And in there is I have a newsletter you can click on, and in there are links to just have a discovery call with me. Just ask if there's something we can do together, and then I also have an energy chakra assessment that I have there live that you can take to see if anything is showing up for you, and it gives you a number and you can see, oh my goodness, what's going on. And in my newsletter, it shows a self-help technique using color in those areas that are de-energized, and how putting that intention to those centers will actually revitalize self-help techniques. But I work usually a session through the discovery. If you decided you wanted to book in the newsletter, you can also click, but there's also a book now button on my Facebook page. And I talked to Sonja, and she's fine if I use the magic as an opportunity to offer a discount. Sue, because of her readiness, she was able to. And I offer like a 3-session package, which would be at a $25 discount. And in that book, you just go ahead and put that in there, and you'll see, and it will guide you to it. But give me a call if you have a question. Recently, there was somebody whose relative committed suicide. And the family wanted to know why. Through that person, with the permission of the family, we were able to connect with that person and then receive information and resolve and comfort for the family. And also worked with individuals who had this overwhelming sense of grief and sense of responsibility about taking on that person. And maybe they could have done something different. It was extraordinary. It was things like that that I can work for and advocating. I know it's just powerful stuff. And to see the changes and to see people being able to, she wasn't able to work. She couldn't work. And after now she's back and she's a therapist. She's a mental health therapist, and just so powerful just daily to see how things, including my brother who passed. And my sister was ready to go. So when she died during COVID, there was just some being able to just see where her soul went to and what she looked like on the other side. She wasn't walking here on this earth, and I was able to share that with family. It was just lovely. So, thank you, Sonia, for that, and thank you.
Absolutely. I want to give at least a moment for questions. I've got about 5 more minutes left. If anyone would like to ask any questions of Mary Jo, you could either put it in the chat thread or you could just unmute yourself.
We'll go back to the gallery view.
I'm removing the spotlight, trying to anyway.
Oh, good. No, there you go.
There we go. Remove spotlight.
Is that Kelly? Are you?
Yeah, I'll ask a question. So, you know, I've worked with you a little bit through the magic, like we've done a couple of calls, but it's always been something specific that was going on that I needed work with. So like booking a session with you, does there need to be like a very specific thing that you're working on, or just book a session and okay.
It's the fact that you said, I maybe like to have a session, but I don't know why. Then we'll find out why.
She'll
Okay.
read your
And,
energy,
you
Kelly.
will help.
She'll read it.
The surgery I had this summer, I don't know if I could have walked through the front door if I had not spoken to Mary Jo the night before.
Right.
And she just helped me find the energy to walk in the door and basically say, I'm here and I'm ready. And that's what I did, and marched right in there. And, you know, I was nervous, but my anxiety, I did not have an anxiety attack or a meltdown. And that was just incredible to me. So, and I had already visualized all the rooms and the nurses prepping everything because she walked me through it, and it was amazing. So
And we helped prepare them through that energy that you provided to help them be present to you, the room, the hospital. And it was really lovely. I felt a sense of respect that was there. And I'm so glad you had that experience while walking in, Kelly.
And I loved your question, Kelly. My experience has been when I sit down with Mary Jo, and it's on Zoom generally. When I sit down with Mary, she's called me before, but she senses things. We're on a call, and she calls me and she says, "Are you okay? I'm sensing this stuff," and she just allows me to do healing. Sometimes I'm not even aware of it. When we are letting go of something that has helped keep our nervous system calm, helped keep us in balance in a way I'm talking about food. When we let that go, we have to figure out other sources of joy, other sources of balance, other sources and ways to allow that emotion to flow through us. And sometimes it's scary. It's really scary. And that's something that Mary Jo can really help with too. So any other questions? Thank you, Kelly. That was great.
It's a privilege to do this work, as I heard Patricia talk about the call that she's been truly clear about and how she would work with individuals in groups, and how, you know, when we find our calling in this, even if it took me the second half of my life, I'm so glad to be able to have come into it. And it's not like I'm dancing with practical feet all the time, because I still get I question, I get nervous, but every time that I come from my place where I center and align myself, best work and support of another and help them walk through what is in front of them or behind them. It means. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. If you have any other questions,
I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it.
If you have any other questions, if you're listening to this after the fact, I will post Mary Jo's contact information underneath this video. And you are welcome to ask any questions there, and Mary Jo and I will monitor it to make sure that you get your questions answered. Thank you all. I really appreciate you, Mary Jo.
Mutual.
Thank you, Mary
mutual,
Jo.
mutual club.
Have
here.
a fabulous
fully
day,
maintained.
everyone. Don't
Thank you,
forget
Mary
to find the
Jo.
magic. Magic is everywhere. It's in the
Mary
corner.
Jo.
Wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Standing O,
Standing O.
standing O.
Standing ovation, if anyone doesn't know what the
Oh,
O
yeah.
stands for.
Nice to see you. Yep, nice to see you, Cindy. Thanks for letting me follow you on your